Okay, we are going to be doing a 1-point linear perspective cube drawing for this. All we're gonna need is paper. You're gonna have to do this on 18 by 24 paper. I'm working on smaller paper, but you have to do 18 by 24. You're going to need an eraser for sure, a pencil. Mechanical pencils are really nice for this because you get like a really thin point. And it's easy to just go from drawing to flipping it over and erasing. I'm going to be using a 3B pencil just because it's really dark and it shows up well for the video. And then you are definitely going to need a 24-inch ruler. I highly recommend having a clear see-through ruler for this because it really helps line up all of the different vertical and horizontal lines with the vertical and horizontal lines that you see on the ruler as well. So for this drawing, I want everyone to have 20 cubes. You're gonna have 10 cubes above the horizon line, and then I want 10 cubes below the horizon line, and I want one of those cubes to be an invisible box or an invisible cube or a transparent one. And then in the second part of this assignment, I'm gonna show you all how to do these modified boxes. You'll modify the cubes that you have drawn on this assignment, and that will be in the second part of this. So we're just gonna worry about doing the 20 cubes, 10 above, 10 below with one invisible box. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find your horizon line. That's the middle line. I would try to just center it the best you can on your piece of paper with your paper oriented horizontally. Right in the middle of your horizon line, you're going to have your vanishing point. Just make a nice little dark mark so you can always be able to find that. And then when you do this, you're going to always be kind of working from your horizon line and then finding your vanishing point as you go. So this will be a really fun and like meditative way to kind of practice perspective. You might have done something like this before, but this can be good to just like retouch on the subject, try it again. And after you do this, you're gonna be able to really use this method for any time you try to tackle drawing anything within a linear perspective. So what you are gonna do is you're going to always be kind of working from that horizon line. So one really easy way to do this is you can kind of take your ruler, have that all lined up with your horizon line, and then just move it up onto where you want to start drawing your first box. With this invisible ruler too, it becomes an amazing tool because I can really like start to level out everything and line everything up by referencing these darker red lines here and then moving them to this edge of my paper also here. So I know that this ruler is perfectly level with the horizon line as well as the edge of the paper too. So it can kind of satisfy that needing for centering, orienting everything nicely. All right, so once again, I can just take my ruler, I'll move it up like this and orient this red line here with the side of my paper, and then I can just make the first mark for my cube here. So I'm working my first cube that's going to be above the horizon line. I'm going to pull this up again like this. And then I'll double check over on my right hand side here. As you can see, my ruler is broken, which is unfortunate, but I taped it back together. Okay, so I'm double checking this side here, and then I'm gonna just make another line parallel to that first line. All right, and then now I can even use the red of my ruler here to line it up on the horizon line. I'll make a mark for the left side of my square, which is going to be the front face of my cube. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that on the right side also. So if you can definitely do this with a solid ruler, like a metal or wooden ruler. You just might make a little bit more mistakes as you go. It just will take you probably a little bit longer, but that's okay. You can still do it. So before I continue, I'm gonna just erase the little edges of the line that went too far on my square here. And then I'm gonna just start to pull the edges down to the vanishing point, creating these orthogonal lines that are necessary to really create this sense of these cubes receding back into space to my vanishing point. So I'm gonna line up my ruler with the first corner of the square here, and then also make sure it's lined up with the vanishing point. I'm gonna pull that first edge down. Then I'm gonna do the same for the next couple edges here. So line that up and then pull it down, line this up. And then pull it down. Okay, after you do that, after you create the orthogonal lines, then you're just gonna wanna find where the back sides of the cubes fall in space. So I'm gonna go ahead and orient my red line on my ruler with my horizon line. It doesn't have to be the darkest red part of the line there, but it can be another of the thinner lines. I'm just gonna line it up here. I'm gonna bring this over like so, and then from there, I know I need to bring this up like here to kind of finish up that cube. But you can always, if you don't have the see-through ruler, I think it's just always good to reference visually, just using your eye, referencing this parallel between the edge of your ruler and the edge of your paper, or the, or not the edge of, yeah, the edge of your ruler to the edge of the paper, or the edge of your ruler to the edge of your horizon line. Okay, so after you do that, you're gonna make 10 cubes. You're gonna make 10 of them above and 10 of them below. And then just really trust the process as you go too. Like, this is gonna seem like it's getting really, really thin. These orthogonal lines are getting really, really thin as they reach the vanishing point, and they are, but that's okay because that's why it's the vanishing point, right? It's supposed to actually like not be visible anymore. So trust that process. There will be, like I said, 10 cubes above the horizon line and 10 cubes below. And then I want one of these cubes to be an invisible box. So I'm gonna kind of show you how to do that with this cube I've already drawn up here. So you can first kind of start off, you know, drawing out the cube exactly how I just drew this one out. And then you can start to figure out the connecting points to this cube. So I will start, I can definitely know that this is a connecting point here. I'm gonna start off lining up my red line on my ruler. And then I can also connect, I'm just looking at where the back side of this is. So I know that this is also, if this is see-through, I could see the edge of this cube here. This kind of seems like at this point, when we're making this invisible cube, it's a little bit of like a, kind of like a mind, like bender, but it's actually quite simple once you get it all figured out. So I drew that line this way, and then I need to have this line connecting as well to this corner. And then I want this to look invisible too. So I'm actually, instead of doing a solid line like I did last time, I'm going to do like a dotted line. Like that. And then I'm just gonna erase this line out. I know that line has got to go because I know that this has to connect with this corner here. I'm trying to figure out that backside. And then I'm gonna just erase this out too, because that is supposed to be a dotted line in order for it to feel transparent. So it's gonna be like this. And then I'm gonna make that corner of the backside connect to the corner that I can see below this cube here. So I always take my time trying to figure everything out, measure everything out. You're gonna need to just really like rely a lot on your eraser for this, because you will probably be making mistakes as you go. So already something we have, like a weird illusion that's sort of happening right now, isn't making sense. No, I made a mistake. So I think the mistake is because this is not parallel with this, I'm gonna go ahead and erase that, and I'm gonna try again, and I just have to keep on working on altering this until I get it right. So I'm gonna draw that solid line for the front face of my invisible box. And then I forgot to kind of orient my red line on the horizon line for this. I really just need that to be parallel with all the other parts. So keep that in mind. You definitely need to keep stuff parallel for this to feel like it makes sense and for these theoretical cubes to be, logical, I suppose. All right, so I'm just really double checking this time. Okay, that looks so much better. I'm gonna just darken those up so you can really see that there. And I'm gonna just really darken this up too, so we can really see the front face of this cube. It's always, like I say, it's always really good to use these lighter lines until you get it right, and then you can use darker lines to really solidify where everything is. So go ahead and do one invisible box, right? So I want to see one invisible box, 10 boxes below, 10 boxes above, and 20 cubes in total. Have fun with this, enjoy the meditative quality of it, and then, like I said, in the next series next week, when we work on this, we're going to be doing the modified cube here, just like this. All right, enjoy and have fun.